How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. And it is Russian Imperial Stout time. Aged Russian Imperial Stout time in the form of Russian Duck's Ded Moroz. I've done my fair share of Russian Duck reviews, as you have seen. They were introduced to me a while ago, a bit over a year ago maybe. Fucking time is crazy. A bit over a year ago by my buddy Ben. He sent me a beer mail after watching some of the videos, and he sent me a Dog's Bollocks was the first one I had from them, and then since then, you know, kind of just started hitting them off. Still haven't met Ben. We have to fucking hook up one of these days, motherfucker. Anyway, because it's close. It's not that far away from me. You know, he lives around the Russian Duck area, Orange County, New York. It's only about an hour and change away from me, and I go up there all the time, and I, you know, grab beers, I take them home, I review them, everything's awesome. But this one comes from a bottle shop close to there. There's a couple bottles south of there. I've talked about a place called Eddie's Roadhouse in Warwick, New York. There is a couple of bottle shops there that are quite nice, and this has been sitting there. These have been sitting there for quite a while, probably about a year when they came out, because this is a 2015-16 version, so the winter of 2015-16, which this being December 28th, 2016, means it came out the winter before. So it's just about a year old. And it was sitting on a shelf, and and they had a few of them. And every now and then one would leave, or be bought. And last time I went up, there was this one solitary one sitting on the shelf, and I went, yep, about time to buy it. So I picked it up. There's your story. I don't actually know if I've had this before or not. I think I've had this in blendings, I believe. I think they use this in one of their barrel-aged anniversary beers. I could be wrong. But I might have had this on draft there, but I don't remember. And I would go to my Untappd and check, but I probably check one out of every 30 beers I drink on that thing. So, yeah. So we're definitely going into fresh memory-wise. Plus, what being aged is going to be a fun little kind of experiment, even though I don't have the newness in my brain to kind of bounce off the oldness. Anyway, enough yammering on to more yammering. As far as what it says on the bottle, it says Russian Imperial Stout, Russian Duck Brewing, Ded Moroz. Orange County, New York. We dedicated to brewing full-flavored and forward-thinking beer. Over here we have Ded Moroz. Ded Moroz, quotations, Father Frost, is a symbol of winter snow and cold in Russia. His origin can be tracked back to the pagan tradition of honoring the frost and paying it bounty to not ruin crops during the long Russian winters. The current story of Ded Moroz has changed him into a jovial old man that arrives around the new year with gifts for children. Whether he is a spirit of winter destruction or gift-giving father of winter, it is up to you. This bold Russian Imperial Stout is perfect for the cold and frost of the winter ahead. Like I said, winter 2015-2016 and 11.2% alcohol by volume. Label-wise, I really fucking dig it. It's like a creepy Russian Santa on there. So, yeah, right up my alley. Because, you know me, I love creepy Russian Santas. Anyway, yeah, I love the label. And it, you know, I'm not a big Russian Duck label fan. You know what I mean? Some of the labels kind of jumped the shark for me. But some of them really hit home for me. I mean, their bottles are always typically really nice. I love Divided by Zero. It's like the Blue Skin of Death. But, you know, some of their more illustrative ones, I don't know. Just don't do it for me. Not a big hiss on there, so we'll see what happens. So, give this a pour. Wow. A lot lighter than I expected it to be. It's very, very brown. Not even close to being black. So, you're talking about a Russian Imperial Stout. I wouldn't even call... If someone poured that and I didn't know what it was, I would not think it's a Russian Imperial Stout. Now, I don't know if you can actually catch this on camera. We're getting these bubbles in here. These big, large, kind of vacuous bubbles. They're like, it's almost like a grid inside here. Anytime, almost every single time I get these bubbles, I have an overly oxidized beer. Not a big hiss. These bubbles, not off to a good start. So we'll see what happens. Wasn't a big head to begin with. Wouldn't expect them with a Russian Imperial Stout, especially one with a little bit of age on it. But yeah, what head was there dissipated pretty quickly, so there's nothing to talk about. And like I said, color-wise, I mean, that is not dark. You know what I mean? It's more English Old Ale in color. Kind of a darker, quaddy English Old Ale in color. So, yeah, definitely not what I'd expect a Russian Imperial Stout to look like. So, here's the moment of, maybe the moment of truth. Sometimes the nose still can be on point. Let's see what this sucker smells like. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't smell bad. She doesn't smell like a Russian Imperial Stout, though. Again, leaning very English Old Ale in style. Getting like more like raisins and prunes in here. A little bit of figginess. A little bit of brown sugar, and that's pretty much it. The nose isn't gigantic at all. Definitely doesn't lead you to believe that it's 11.2%. But yeah, it smells absolutely more like English barley wine, English Old Ale than Russian Imperial Stout. So yeah. She doesn't look the part, she doesn't smell the part, but she looks good, and she smells kind of good. So, but the bubble theory and the cap, meh. I don't know. Let's see what she tastes like. Cheers. That is delicious. Absolutely fucking delicious. And in no form or fashion a Russian Imperial Stout. Almost to the point where I think this is a mislabeled bottle. Russian Imperial Stouts can be like interpreted a couple different ways. More than a couple different ways. You have, the traditional Courage Russian Imperial Stout, the staple for which they're all based on. Bit of a bittering roasted malt to it, well, a little bit of hot presence, and a nice creamy fluffiness to the mouthfeel. Then you have the American version of that, most notably the North Coast Old Rasputin. Very bitter, hot bitter, roasted malt bitter, very bitter, and nice kind of density to the mouthfeel. And then you have like the Belgian kind of European takes on it, like a Dustruce Black Albert, which is just like an over the top, like super malt bomby, like dark cherries, and not really much bittering or hot presence in it whatsoever. So there are some changes to Russian Imperial Stouts. This is not a Russian Imperial Stout by any means. Rich caramels and dates in there. This tastes very close to the base of what Dog's Bollocks is. Before it might even be a little bit of like oakiness in there. I would bet my left testicle this might be a mislabeled beer. It can't be. This cannot be them making a Russian Imperial Stout. That's all I have to say. Because it's just that far out in left field. But it's delicious. So, I mean, while I was expecting a Russian Imperial Stout, I got a really nice English barley wine. And while that's, some people might be peeved at that, what do I care? Because I honestly like English barley wines a little bit more than Russian Imperial Stout, so it kind of worked out in my favor. It's a weird one, it's kind of like, how do I talk about it now? Because I know it can't be a Russian Imperial Stout. Yeah, like this. Like I said, recap a little bit. Nice sweetness to it, not even close to being overly sweet. You have that date figgy thing going on, a little caramel, a little pruniness kind of going on, that raisin anything I like so much. And there's like a drying to it, almost making me think like there's some oak involved, some wood involved, but I don't think it's a spirit. I think it's just straight up just wood. And yeah, absolutely delicious beer. Something that aged pretty well, and I was a little bit suspect with the cap and the bubbles and the whole nine, so take that theory and shove it up your fucking whatever. And absolutely delicious beer. But it's not a Russian Imperial Stout. So yeah, it's kind of a hard one to talk about. I'm just going to cut to the chase and say, if you like what? No, let's do this. Is it one of the better Russian Imperial Stouts I've had in a long time? No, because it's not. Is it one of the better English barley wines I've had in a long time? Yeah, because it's fucking amazing and it's pretty fucking good. So, yeah, I just don't know what to say about that. Value and availability. Like I said, it was on a shelf. Said, screw it, picked it up at $11 a bottle. This is straight cash money, homie at $11 a bottle. And at this point now, I'm kind of peeved by them all. It's an aged local beer, so the chances of finding one of these are pretty slim to none. So awesome for me doing a review of beer you can't have, and but you might be able to find it. Who knows? They're got to be out there. Let's see, and just say if you like what we like this, if you like English barley wines, English old ales, it's not in the vein of like a a GW Lee's, a little bit more old stocky, a little bit more hearty, but very good English barley wine that is masquerading as a Russian Imperial Stout, at least label wise. Let's put it that way. So yeah, if you like good beer, check it out. In general, the Russian Duck's whole portfolio, because they're one of my favorite breweries, and I think they do a fantastic job across the board with almost every single beer they do. So there you go. Another weird review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. If you did or you didn't or somewhere in between, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. If you want to check us out anywhere else on the internet, you can. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, Massive Beers in all 4 of those places. And yeah, another review down. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice English barley wine or Russian Imperial Stout right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.